Hello there, it's midnight and you are watching Midnight Storyline with me, Agni Sofia 261051, the headliners. Today's case is Midnight Journal entry, which is about leadership and people management, specifically on how a CFO should react when he discovers a severe accounting fraud happened in the company. Electro Scientific Industry (ESI) was Origin's second largest technological firm. In 1944, it is known as Brown Engineering, situated in Portland, was formed to manufacture test and measurement equipment. The company's goods developed in line with technological advancement. In the 1960s, the corporation called as ESI began working with lasers and eventually developed laser application for the emerging semiconductor sector. In 1983, ESI went public on the Nasdaq market. The main character, which is Richard Akimoto, was a CFO of Electro Scientific Industry in 2013. James Dooley was formerly the CFO and is now the CEO of the company. He is taking over for Don Van Loon, who had a stroke and was unable to continue working for the firm. Richard Akimoto grew up in a morally upright home. His mother instilled ethical discipline in him from the time when he was a little child. Furthermore, he benefited from his father's retirement benefit when he retired from the employment. His mother always mentioned that doing right things is very important, and thus he needs to do the right thing in every road that he takes. This is what distinguishes him as a capable leader. In this case, Richard discovered that a group of supervisors led by James Dooley have reversed and incurred obligations related to the hoped for price of worker retirement benefits about midnight some months before. He discovered that this late-night notebook entry had allowed the company to claim a profit for the quarter rather than a loss. However, Richard Akimoto believed that the reversal was not legitimate and that the firm's profit should be linked. The main problem is, how should Akimoto act as a CFO when he discovered that this company had committed an action that is prohibited and unethical? The finance department has distinguished certain expenses in order to show profit to the shareholders, while the company was really losing money. The records of money owing to the former workers as retirement benefits and pension plans were the biggest expenditure that the finance office had destroyed, which the elimination of accrued liabilities of amounted $977,000 associated with the anticipated cost of the retirement of severance benefit to the company employees in Japan, Korea, and Taiwan. This affects the favorable net income, which permits the company to report earnings of $0.001 per share. It is worth mentioning that the record keeping was completed on the eve of the third quarter performance report. This fact seems to be compelling proof that the activities conducted were intentional and unethical. The records were purposely manipulated to falsely report the company's earnings. This led to Richard Akimoto's research as Chief Financial Officer exposed the reality of the irregularities he discovered, which made him dilemma whether to expose it or to keep it. As Chief Financial Officer, Akimoto must project the image that he and the organization are profit-driven while also being mindful of the need of upholding corporate ethics. He thinks that a company's size is determined by its business ethics. That is, the more of a company is aware of its ethical obligation, the more likely it is to attract new customers and grow. Setting a good moral precedence and abiding by regulatory bodies, regulations, and law are the greatest way for a corporation to follow the business ethics. The case vividly shows that the Akimoto was having a difficult time in solving the challenges of the company. He was urged to simply ignore it when he informed the general manager, general counsel, and audit committee of his concern. Akimoto had to determine on how to respond to his suspicions that the corporation had committed an immoral and unlawful behavior while limiting the harm to themselves and their future career. That's all from the news today. See you next time. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.